Hi everyone, it's Nicole Hanna from Nicole Hanna Jewelry and YouTube's Go Art Yourself. As part of this sort of quick tip video series that I'm doing, a few people have suggested a video that kind of shows how to handle a woven section that's curled really tightly, how to maintain that shape. So I started a weave here that I'm going to put into place. And this particular weave, I made it real nice and tight. Make sure that the weave is very compressed. Usually what I like to do is grip the ends with a pair of pliers or my fingers if there's enough wire for leverage, and just kind of push the weave down to compress it. And what this usually does is when the weave is nice and compressed, you have a little more control. It's harder to move, but you still have more control over the base wires themselves. If the weave is too loose, you might end up finding when you're shaping it into a very tight curl or curve, then what usually happens when the weave is not very compressed is that the base wires here will kink in between the rotations or in between the pattern of whatever weave you're doing. So in this case it's nice and compressed, and what I like to do is I like to put my finger on the section that's going to contain the nice shape and twist everything around. See how it's starting to form into its shape? So I just keep doing that until I get the shape that I like. And generally speaking, once you get it started, you can grip it from the ends of the wires and kind of help you shape it the rest of the way. But I always like to use my finger as a kind of anchor, I guess you can say, to really form that shape into a nice tight curve. And another thing that helps, let's see if I can get this close enough here. Another thing that helps is you notice how the small coils, the coils around the single wire, those are on the outside of the curve. And what this does is that this allows the other, the coils around both wires, it allows those to sort of compress in on themselves. You see how the tips of those coils around the two wires kind of touch each other on the inside of the circle. That helps when creating a tighter shape than if the placement of these coils was reversed. And now, like on a 3-wire weave such as this, you're just not going to get that kind of tight curl. So I like to suggest if you're going to do a tight curl, you want to use a smaller number of base wires. So you would create like this curl up here, starts with a 2-wire, and then a 3rd wire is added in afterwards. And that makes it a little easier to get the shape that you want initially. And so now that I have this shape in place, I can continue to curve the wire. And so I just try to make sure, use my fingertip and shape it along. I don't usually just grab the end and put it where I want it. I kind of try to shape it as I go to get it really right where I want it. And once it's there, I secure it wherever I'm going to secure the ends to. And that's all there is to it. And if you find that you can't really get the shape as small as you'd like, I have this extra wire here that I'm going to end up coiling, and that's going to create a nice small shape on the inside as well. So to fill up some of that curve with a smaller wire. And if you ever find that you just didn't like the look of it, see how sometimes if you try to straighten out a curve that's already been formed, your wires will look a little kinked, and it's going to take some elbow grease to get that misshapen section straightened out to your liking, but it can be straightened again as long as you're just really careful when initially forming the shape, unless you absolutely know where you're going to go with the design and what you want it to look like in your head. I'd always suggest just to be approach it gingerly, I guess you could say. So once you get the shape that you like, though, you can continue on. You see, I just fiddle with it a little and use my thumb and work it along. And sometimes even after, once I secure the wire ends, we're still going to have, it's not going to be perfectly shaped, because whenever you secure wire ends, it's going to push the shape out of location. It's going to distort it a little bit, which is fine. And sometimes you can come along after the ends are secure, and you can use your pliers and just gently straighten out any misshapen sections. And that's really all there is to creating a nice tight curve. And eventually you'll find what works for you. The finger, working by moving the hand. I move my whole hand when I do it. That doesn't always work for everybody. Some people prefer to just grip the ends of the wire and shape it that way, and I find that I don't really have the control over the wire that I prefer when I'm working. And I tend not to use tools because I like to keep the control in my hands and not in a tool. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments. If you have any suggestions for future quick tip videos, leave that as well. I'm always happy to hear some more suggestions for videos. And thank you for watching. Bye!